It's Friday. It's been a busy week. There's been a lot going on. And so I thought I would just pop on briefly while I'm making myself some tea and just chat with you for a few minutes about what's in my head, um, what's going on in the world. That's a lot. So we're probably not going to tackle what's going on in the world. What we are going to tackle is how you doing this week? I know it's been a hard week for a lot of people, and I know that for some people it's just business as usual. So if it's been a hard week for you, welcome. I hope that you find some solace this weekend and something that brings you joy and peace. If it's been business as usual, I hope that you are continuing to find ways to make sure that your peace is non-negotiable and that you are not um, being drawn into things that don't serve you. So I was going to talk about money because that's the theme of today's postings, and I am going to talk about money, but I want to talk about it in a way that I think is really important for the women that I'm trying to reach, which are the women who understand that the grass may in fact be greener on the other side of wherever you're standing right now. So there's this really silly saying, right? Money can't buy happiness. People say it all the time. Steve Harvey, the comedian, once said, money can't buy you happiness, but it can sure drive you right on up to happy's door and knock on it for you. And I appreciated that when I heard it years ago because the idea that money can't buy you happiness is something very ingrained into the Gen X generation. Um, Hold on, my kettle's boiling. Give me a second. Turn that off so that it doesn't start to make the whistling sound because I have an actual kettle, so it whistles. So we were raised at a time where we were coming out of a lot of issues of the 70s and 80s. There was a lot of social change and cultural upheaval, and a lot of people were raised, and please, if you're very religious, I'm not slamming religion, so don't start coming for me. But a lot of people were raised within religious structures that didn't value the dollar, but valued sacrifice, right? And so in order to kind of keep people from making a connection that money in fact can buy you happiness, there has to be some kind of narrative that money can't buy you happiness, right? Well, I would say that we have been hoodwinked. We have been lied to. Because here's the thing. Money is buying whatever lifestyle you are currently living. It is buying whatever lifestyle you're currently living. So let's think about that. If money can't buy you happiness, according to the old saying, money can't buy you happiness, why do we assume that? So is money not buying you misery? Because is it not buying your survival? Is it not buying whatever it is that whatever state of your life that you have right now? Money is directly contributing to that, either money or lack thereof. So this idea that somehow we can't use money to buy our way to happiness or even rent our way to happiness is crazy. But that is what we tell people, especially when economies go crazy and going through economic downturns or things are happening. We start talking about how, oh, you shouldn't look at money as your way out. It's not something that you can pursue. Well, let me tell you something. I'll tell you in a minute. Let me say hi to some people. Hello, Sing. Good to see you. Hello, Cecily. Hello, Alec. I think I'm going to pronounce that wrong. Alec or Seven. Hi, thank you for joining me. I'm talking about this obsession that we have with trying to convince people that money can't buy you happiness. When in fact, money buys us whatever state of mind we are currently in. Because either the money is buying it for you or the lack of money is buying it for you, right? And so because that's true, when we say, oh, but money can't buy you happiness, it's like, why would that be the only thing money can't buy? It can buy everything else, can buy misery, can buy comfort, can buy surviving, but it can't buy happiness. So now back to my story about Steve Harvey. So Steve Harvey says in one of his comedy shows, or it might have been one of his talks, that money can't buy you happiness, but it can sure drive you right up to the happiest neighborhood and drop you off at the curb. And I always thought, why don't we say that? Why don't we tell people it's not that money can't buy you happiness. Money absolutely can buy you happiness. It can rent it for you if you don't want to talk about buying it for you. It can bring you places that will make you happy. So why on earth would we say that money somehow isn't part of an integral part of our happiness. There's a lot of talk right now, right? What are people going to do? We're not going to talk politics today, but we are going to talk realistic expectations about what's possible in a changing economic world. Money goes further in certain places. Some countries are hellaciously expensive to live in, and the quality of life that you get there isn't great unless your money goes far. Other countries are moderately expensive to live in, and the quality of life that you can afford is a little better because you don't need quite as much money to have a good quality of life. Some countries are terrible places to live in, and whether you have money or not, you wouldn't want to live there because your quality of life would not be good. If you are of a certain generation, you've been working for a long time, and chances are you are looking down the barrel of a lot of things happening going, how do I manage to maintain a happy life, a quality life, based on what's happening around me? And I am here to tell you that you need to start thinking about where you can buy your happiness. Because happiness keeps us from, as Cicely just said, thank you so much, keeps us out of the sunken toxic place. Happiness allows us peace to sleep freely. I talked, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, about the fact that so many of us are suffering from a lack of sleep driven by stress and uncertainty. But you know what money does? It is a buffer against stress and uncertainty. The reason we get mad at rich people isn't because they have money. And I get it, we're not going to have the billionaires discussion right now. Just work with me here. But it's because they seem to be, say it with me, out of touch with reality. Of course they are. Because in their reality, they are buffered away from the things that are your reality. And I would argue that a whole lot of you, and I'm talking to a specific generation of people, so if this doesn't apply to you, just let it fly. But there's a whole lot of us in the next generation who, if we really looked at our finances and figured out what we actually made or what we actually had in investments and what we actually had in pensions or whatever and whatnot, and looked around to where we could live more comfortably, we would also start to buffer ourselves against some of the stressors of surviving. So being mad at people for choosing to engage in life through the lens of, well, I have the money to not have to suffer, and then being mad at them for not wishing to suffer is crazy. Crazy. Money can buy you access to happiness. So why do we get mad at people who get that money and then go buy themselves some happiness? I was on, I don't know if it was Threads or Blue Sky today, and I'll probably post this later, but a woman posted that she retired at 37, went to an Asian country, she did not say which one, which I thought was great because it's none of our business, bought herself a condo for cash, has been living there since she was 37, she's now 42. She is happy, she is healthy, she is content, she has peace, and she's getting vilified in the comments for running away and money can't buy you happiness and, oh, you just ran away from the problems. Remember I pointed out that a lot of the problems that we hold on to aren't even our problems to solve, right? Like we are literally putting ourselves in harm's way for problems that are not ours to solve. Now, do I want to go live in Asia? I don't know. I think about it sometimes, and I'm definitely contemplating what may be next for me and my family. But I think it's so important as the world is spinning to pay attention to what's happening in the side conversations. Because I'm going to say this, I'm going to keep saying it. What's happening is not going to hit everyone the same. And so you have to figure out how you're going to let it hit you. And money is one of those places where you have to figure out how you're going to let it hit you. And if you are someone for whom money at the moment is not an issue, and you do have the ability to think about life from a different perspective of just surviving, how do you let money help you continue to buy your happiness? How do you let money continue to let you have good options for you and your family? How do you do that and do it in enough time that you're not left going, oh shoot, I waited too long and now my dollar isn't worth what it used to be? Because the world is changing, right? There are countries and states even that are making moves around a certain person who I'm not going to talk about because it's my channel and I don't have to, and what he's doing to shore up money and make sure access doesn't get cut off. You need to be thinking about your own personal economy and how your own personal economy is going to withstand whatever's coming. And that may be by looking at other places where your dollar is going to stretch further and your quality of life won't diminish. Money can absolutely buy us happiness. Lack of money buys us sadness. Poor people are not happy. I don't care what anybody is selling on TV or from the pulpit. Poverty does not, being poor is not buying you happiness. Lack of money buys us stress, chronic stress, absolutely chronic stress. And the lie that we have told each other is that it's better to be poor and happy than rich and miserable. Think about that. When was the last time, if you've ever been poor, and I have been poor, like there were years in there when it was thin, and it wasn't a, oh, this is great because at least I'm alive kind of thin. It was a, this sucks kind of thin. I don't want to ever have to live like this again. Just don't want to do it. And if you've lived 40 years, 50 years, you've probably gone through some periods where it was like, daggone it, I need to make more money, because surviving is not living. And there's nothing happy about subsistence survival every day. And if you don't have to live that way, you shouldn't sign up for it. Now, I am going to absolutely alienate some people with this conversation, and I get it, because we have been socialized and indoctrinated to believe that money can buy us everything but happiness. Everything but happiness. And that the more you focus on money, the less happy you're going to be, and that you need to do everything except focus on the money. I am anti-hustle culture. I don't think that you should have to hustle 2, 3, 4 jobs just to survive. I'm not down with that. I am pro money culture though. I am pro making a living and having a life of comfort. I am pro being in a place where my dollars go further so that I don't have to worry about a blip in a radar somewhere. I am pro peace, and part of my peace is being able to buy the groceries that I want, to be able to go to the places that I want, to be able to take care of my family the way that I want to. I'm pro all of that. And I am also pro not having to worry about whether or not some random tariff is going to make it so that I can't afford to buy an avocado. I can either pay for the avocado or put gas in my car because they're the same price. Come on now. But here's the thing. And if you take nothing else away from this, I hope that you take away this concept that your position about money is going to make what's happening right now easier or harder for you. You can rail against people with money for running away if you want to. I'm encouraging people with money to take a look around at their lives and ask themselves, can I continue to maintain what I am doing and what I have where I am? Or is it time for me to leverage what I have into a place where I know that I can continue to protect my happiness? I'm also encouraging people, like, if you don't have those resources now, can you get them? Can you get them? Because yes, a lot of government employees are being laid off. There's a lot of chatter, and some in the private sector are also starting to feel the rumblings of potentially what might be happening to them. But right now, today, there's still a whole lot more private sector employees than there are government employees that are on the job that haven't been laid off. Other countries can see that there are people who are currently in positions here in this country who would make really great employees in another country. Canada, let's talk about our neighbors to the north for a second, is literally begging for people who are in the home health care industry to come to Canada. Now, in this country, the home health care industry is not great. It doesn't pay worth a darn. There are so many people in the industry. They're not paid a living wage. It is backbreaking work. But Canada is saying, if you are in the United States and you are a home health care worker and you want to live here, we will help you get immigration through the immigration process faster. If you can get a job We will help you get here. Now, Canada is also very expensive, so I don't know that that's necessarily where you'd want to go. But my point is this. Right now, if you have any kind of skill set, you want to think about where you can go where your quality of life will not be substantially impacted by what may be taking place within the confines of this particular country. Because some of y'all are super smart and have been on your jobs for many years and have a huge skill set, right? Lawyers, doctors, project managers, engineers, chemists, teachers, you name it. You've got so much skill. And there are countries right now who are looking around going, who can we poach? Maybe you need to think about letting yourself get poached. Maybe it's time to reassess your value and ask yourself, maybe it would not be a bad idea to live in X, Y, or Z for 3 or 4 years as we see how the world shakes out, especially if the money is good. Imagine you could live someplace else on one income. Just one. Gen X, we are masters of making a dollar stretch until it hollers. What if you didn't have to do that? What if there was an actual way to live that didn't require you planning for a second job to make sure that you can catch the shortfall of what the first job didn't catch? What if there was a pathway where you could go on vacation? When is the last time any of us took 3-4 weeks off, not 3 or 4 days, 3 or 4 weeks off because our quality of life is such that we could afford to do so? I have a great friend in Germany. He's one of my dearest friends. We've been friends for over 20 something years. And every time I talk to him, they've been someplace else. They visited friends here. They've gone to a wedding in India. They've done all kinds of interesting things. He's divorced, 2 kids. Worked for the same company for probably the past 15 years. But his quality of life, markedly different from what we experience over here. And so I want to ask you as I leave you, because I'm going to go get myself some tea, because it's been a long day. But I want you to really think about, if money is supposed to be this tool, why we don't allow it to buy us happiness. We allow it to buy us misery. We allow it to buy us survivability. In some ways, we allow it to bring us a few creature comforts. But the minute someone's life looks too comfortable or too peaceful or too much not the norm, we immediately start talking about how bad money is, and you shouldn't want more money, and you have too much money, and you can't spend your money like that, and how dare you think that money is a good thing. I think money is a good thing, and I'm hoping that if you think it's a good thing, you'll hit subscribe on my channel, because I'm going to keep talking about the fact that you are in a position, chances are, if you've been on the planet for 4 decades or 5, you're in a really good position to be able to leverage your dollars in ways that will continue to enhance your happiness. And I want you to do that. In fact, I'm encouraging that very thing. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's see who's talking to me. Money can keep us out of the sunken. Absolutely. It provides options. Yes. Yes. And I would much prefer to have the conversation now, when we can have the conversation and when we can look at what's happening in the world. I mean, I know I said I was almost done. Let me just cook for a second. When you have individual states who are making a point to say publicly, we are negotiating with other countries so that the tariffs don't impact our state. If you live in a red state, you need to start thinking about how to get to a blue state. But I'm encouraging you to think even further, to think even grander, because you cannot carry the weight of the entire state on your back. And the last thing that you want is for your personal economy to collapse, or for your standard of living to go so far down that you can't dig out. Because I guarantee you, money may not buy you happiness, but when it starts to go away, we're going to all be very, very miserable. And I, for one, don't want to sign up for that. And neither should you. All right, I'm done talking. I'm done preaching. I'm done cooking. Let's go have a great weekend. And I will probably see you all tomorrow, though we're playing in the garden. But I think we'll be back tomorrow afternoon. And so thank you again. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with someone that you think might be on the fence about whether or not they can cash in their 401k that's tanking right now and escape the madness, they can. Encourage them to do so and send them this video. Hey, Celeste. Oh, perfect. Let me know what you think about the replay. On that note, this is Dr. Sasheen, and I'm out. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.